Don't listen to anything in the world at all. Anything or anyone, don't listen to it. Don't even listen to me unless your intuition has led you to me. I've never heard anyone say this, but this just came to the foreground of my mind just a few moments ago. We're supposed to be living our lives from our intuition, that inner guidance. If you're constantly following your intuition, you would notice the alignment that is present in your life. You would notice the alignment that you already are. When you follow your intuition, then you don't need to listen to anything in the world at all. Something that we should have been taught growing up is to look at the world with a grain of salt, truly. Don't seek the world for anything. Allow your intuition to guide you to and through the world and all of its appearances and circumstances. To live by our intuition instead of the world. When you sit with that, and for those who have followed their intuition enough times to realize, every time I followed my intuition, it was always right. You sit with that awareness, you realize, wait, that makes sense. It would make more sense. I would feel like I have actual control over my life if I were following everything that my intuition was guiding me to. Now, the interesting thing about intuition is not logical. If you look at your ego carefully versus intuition, and I'm going to figure out a way to articulate this very clearly. So our ego is actually designed to be pointed towards anywhere that we choose, if we are aware of it. Ideally, your ego is supposed to be pointed towards your intuition. Your ego should be following your intuition and not the appearances in your awareness, not the appearances in the world. Many people, without their knowing, have their egos introduced as children to follow and cling to the appearances and opinions of the world. And that creates confusion. So then by the time you get to a place in your life where you start questioning everything, you're like, what's going on? And somehow you get to a moment where you realize what's going on in your ego. For me, it has revealed itself through lots of observation. Just watching the reality and seeing what truth is actually revealed and seeing how it gets articulated as a higher consciousness. So once you see that the ego was actually supposed to be following your intuition, life seems a lot more simple because the ego doesn't have to micromanage anything. When the ego is taught to align itself with intuition, to follow intuition, that the ego is taught that whatever solution lives in the intuition, not in the world. All of your solutions, all of your alignment lives in the intuition, nowhere else. And as intangible as the intuition may seem, because the ego may not know what's going on, what the ego will realize through following the intuition is that Well, every time I follow the intuition, it's right. So that's all that matters. I don't need to know the other details. I don't need to cling to anything else. I don't need to cling to appearances in the so-called perceived reality or the world. And in that realization that your ego has, that understanding, the ego drops everything, every habit that it used to operate by. Just listening to this awareness alone will drop the false behavior, the false choice, the false belief, if you believe in beliefs, which that's a side conversation, but our intuition is the only thing that you can count on. Yes, affirmations are helpful. Yes, you can robotically affirm if it's fun for you, or if your awareness has a lot going on in it, a lot of distractions, then what robotic affirming does is that it keeps you away from the appearances that are trying to pull you into the narratives and false interpretations around those appearances. That's what robotic affirming does. And you don't need to believe in anything for that. It's just a discipline. It's not a technique. It's just something that keeps you out of the world and puts you in a narrative that can actually serve you. Just marinate in all of this. If you've gotten this far, it's because your intuition led you here. I wouldn't attract anything but people who are following their intuition and those who are ready to be disciplined to their own intuition. And this is why I don't care about whatever it is that I communicate, because I don't need anyone to understand what I say. I don't need anyone to apply what I say, because it doesn't matter. Every person who listens to this is me, just in another form, wearing another identity, another name. Nothing is needed from others. Everything that I could ever need lives in my intuition. And it's the same for you. Don't listen to the world. Only listen to yourself, your intuition. How you understand and discover yourself lives in your intuition. All the details and information that you discover about yourself lives in your intuition, gets revealed through your intuition. How does your life expand? Through your intuition. And I just heard a question. Well, how do we understand how to identify our intuition? How do we know where our intuition is? How does our intuition show up? That will be in another post.